What's up, cheeseheads? Before we get into today's podcast, we wanted to tell you about what Ethan and I have been up to in 2022. Something very exciting. It's a new product that we have launched for employee engagement called the Pool Boys. E, tell them what's up.
That's right. So right here, as you can see, the Pool Boys, what we want to do is create an awesome environment for your office pools. So we're going to come in, we're going to run everything for small business owners, large business owners, basically business owners, where we want to come in, provide an awesome red carpet experience where we up the engagement, up the fun by running your office pools, whether it be March Madness. We got some fun fall offerings, whether it be college football pick'em, NFL pick'em, Survivor. We got you covered no matter what the pool is. We are your boys for it. So let's get going.
That's right. This is an employee engagement play. If you're having any trouble at all with retention or engagement or even internal communication, let the Pool Boys take a look and show you some of the products that we can offer. We shoot customized videos with these handsome fellas, and we send them to your team, and we talk trash about your people. It's so much fun. I got to tell you.
We build you up too. Don't worry. It's not just trash, but there is a lot of trash.
There is some trash. All right, guys, check us out at www.thepoolboys.net, and we're going to get into the episode now. Welcome into Fold Into Cheese. It is your boy, K. Troll, on the mic today with another divisional preview. And I'm joined, as always, by my main man, Ethan Gelfand. E, what is happening?
Man, these division previews are coming fast and furious. I mean, how many divisions? Yeah, I guess there's 8. So what is this, 6? This is our 6th one.
This is our 6th one. We're starting to slow it down because we got so excited. We started just blasting out of the gate.
We just wanted to get them all in at once, but no, our listeners would like to take their time. They want us in their ears on their drive to work. They just wanted to stretch it out as long as they can. So we are listening to you, listeners. We get it.
They want to hear us more frequently. That's just basically what we're getting. So today we've got the NFC West, which we're excited about. But before we get there, I want to hear about what's going on in the week. We gotta catch up.
Yeah, but okay. So I just mentioned this is how my brain works. Like I'll say something like, "Huh." That makes me think of 10 other things. So I just said we're coming at you Fast and Furious.
Yep.
Have you seen all the Fast and Furious movies?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not even close. I've seen maybe 2.
I was going to say, I've seen the first one. And it's granted, that was probably when were we in high school?
Probably high school, the first one.
God, 1, we're old. 2, I can't believe I think there's 10. Like, of all the movie franchises, would you ever have expected the Fast and the Furious, 1, to be a franchise, and 2, to have 10 movies?
It's killing it. I mean, I think it did when it came out, at least. The whole idea of, like, drifting and all that was, like, pretty cool. And so that
was until 3. That was
Tokyo Drift. I know. But, like, that kind of spawned, like, a whole
thing,
a whole sub-sport kind of thing. But when you made a movie that was just basically like pure action the entire time, pure car chases, pure explosions, like that's all it was. It kind of stood out in that way. There wasn't much else like it, you know?
That's true.
And like even action movies had a lot of like plot and drama and character development and all that. Fast and Furious is just like, hey, it's like the Grand Theft Auto of movies. It was like, nah, we're just going to go beat up some hookers and steal cars and blow shit up. That was basically
Grand Theft Auto or Fast.
That was Grand Theft Auto, but it's like like the Grand Theft Auto of movies.
Okay, fair. And also, I mean, unfortunately, he is no longer with us. But Paul Walker, like, first of all, a big shift. I just remember him in Varsity Blues and like She's All That, and now it's like boom, action superstar Paul Walker.
Yeah. Yep. Lance.
And it's crazy to see the progression. I feel like Vin Diesel left for a little bit, but then they got people like The Rock in it. Like Jason Statham, like now there's so many big namers in it. Luda is in it. Tyrese. I mean,
true.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yes, this is how my brain works. I said Fast and Furious unintentionally. I was just thinking of something.
The words just go together now. It's part of the lexicon of American English.
The Fast and the Furious franchise, Triple F, but I don't know again what that speaks to. Heck, Harry Potter doesn't even have 10 movies. I'm not counting the Fantastic Beasts. Those don't count. I'm talking like Harry Potter has 8. And that is probably the biggest. And Fast and Furious has 10.
Yeah,
Come
Star
on.
Wars has 9.
That's true. Star Wars has more than Star Wars.
Has 9. That is pretty insane. Again, there are all these offshoots as well that kind of add up. But you're right. I mean, your point's not wrong. Again, I just think it's like if you're thirsting for just like pure adrenaline, that's your go-to movie. I think
And again, so we are way behind. I feel like honestly, I have to start to watch them just because there are so many. It's like, okay, I'm clearly missing something. I think there's one where they're riding like a tank that has fallen out of an army plane, and I think Tyrese is like on the gun or something. I don't
I
know.
feel very certain they're all exactly the same. I feel very confident saying that.
I mean, so we joke that they don't really necessarily have a plot; it's just all action. But the first one, as my wife likes to say, she can get behind stuff that's realistic, like The Walking Dead. She views that as realistic.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
Breaking Bad, realistic,
Sure.
ish. So anyway, so the first one is, it's these high speed cars are like robbing like freight trucks and stealing all the merchandise and stuff like that. Now fast forward to 10, I'm sure it's like the military and like the government and I don't even know what drug cartels. Who knows?
It all sounds good to me, honestly. I haven't had the need to watch 20 hours of that, but if I was ever like, God, I need just like a real hit of adrenaline, maybe I'd pop one in and I'd just pick a random one. It wouldn't matter. Just pick a random one and be like, all right, I'm just going to watch a little bit of Fast and Furious. Give me 30 minutes and I'll be good.
Would you be willing to commit to me in that at one point in the next 2 or 3 years, you and I just like get together for a weekend and 24 hours straight, we literally watch like one through, I think they call it X. One through X.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
Yes.
Challenge accepted. I have like minimal interest in that, but the whole like getting together with you and watching it sounds pretty cool. So yeah.
So
I'll give it a go.
the longest marathon I've ever done is it was my buddy Bill Ferrara when we were at Central Michigan, and it was when Terminator Salvation was just hitting theaters. So that was technically the fourth one. So that day we knew we were gonna see it that night. So that day we got together early. We watched 1, 2, and 3, and then headed to the movie theater and saw the fourth one. So that's the longest.
Oh, we can crush that.
Marathon.
I feel like we watched more Lost than that in any given time.
True.
But yeah, no, I hear you. I think so. My wife did that with Star Wars when the new ones came out.
Did she?
She was with a friend and they watched like all 6 of the first. Or
Like
I guess it was when episode 1 came out. So okay. They watched the original
4, 5, 6.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6.
1. Okay,
yep.
That's fair.
So similar to Terminator.
Yeah, it's very similar. Okay, props to Jamie. I didn't know she had that in her.
Yeah, she's got it.
Okay.
We have recently seen all 9 of them with our kids as well.
In a row, I hope.
They are caught up in the machete order, which is the recommended order for watching Star Wars.
Well, I guess I meant one sitting. That would be even better.
Oh, gosh. Yes. Yes, in one sitting. Our 5-year-old was very patient with all that. 30 hours of Star Wars.
30 hours. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of hours.
But alas, from movies to football.
Yes.
And there's some great football movies out there. But today we're going to talk about the movie that is the NFC West. A pretty competitive division. Actually, a really good division. This is not one of the crappy divisions that we've covered so far.
Yes, it is.
These guys are really good.
I think our competition level is getting up. We had some good ones last time. So, I mean, it's getting there. It's just
getting there.
When you start with the NFC North and the AFC South, you can only go up.
You can only go up. We're going to end on a high note. Don't you worry.
Yes.
So the NFC West, great division, has got the reigning Super Bowl champion. It still hurts me to say that. The Los Angeles Rams.
Sorry.
Still a little salty about that. But let's see. Last year, 12-5, made it all the way to the big game. Matthew Stafford comes to town, turns the team around, accomplishes what Jared Goff could not accomplish, got them the ring. Good on them. Happy for him. That's great.
Real quick, have you seen that? Was it the Matthew Stafford commercial with AT&T?
Yes.
You're with one phone for 12 years. You really love it.
but you do move on. Although you never truly forget that phone. And you'll always love the memories you had.
I was like, good for you, Matt. Respect. I appreciate that.
That was good. I think that's a good way to handle it too.
Yeah.
So the big signing in the offseason, one of the biggest in the NFL, was Allen Robinson coming to LA to take on the number 2 receiver role, presumably booting Odell Beckham out of the picture, who is still recovering from an injury. It's probably a half season at best this year.
Yeah.
So Beckham is not currently re-signed. He's not landed anywhere else either.
Anywhere.
I think he's similar to my conspiracy theory on Gronk. I could see him coming back week 10 to the Rams and then all of a
Oh,
sudden going for another run.
yeah. So you honestly don't see Odell Beckham being signed at all this offseason. I guess there's not much offseason left.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like someone would have to take a flyer on him. Why
well,
not?
if he's injured, like what's the rush? You can't play.
I guess
I don't
just
know.
to get him before someone else does, but I guess he's
Sure.
probably not fielding that many offers right now. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm surprised that someone has not taken it on him, taken
Yeah,
him on yet.
I am too. I thought Green Bay would be going after him after losing Devontae.
Yep.
I was kind of hopeful that the Titans might go for it. I think you've talked about the Patriots as well.
You
There's
said
a
it,
lot.
not me.
There's a lot of teams that need it. I know. I will point out you made a whole episode last time without mentioning the Patriots. So
Thank you.
kudos to you.
You
I
said
wanted
it,
to
not
mention
me.
it. I did mention it this time, but there were some teams that could use somebody who's got a veteran and a good skill set like him. But
Yeah.
so far, nobody. We'll see. We'll keep tabs on that.
But no, Allen Robinson, I love this fit here. I'm a huge Allen Robinson guy. I mean, I got to watch him live at Penn State, and the dude is just a freak athletically and can make acrobatic catches. I mean, he's never, and I think we've talked about this before, he's never had his true quarterback. You know, he's in Jacksonville for the start of his purgatory, and his best year was with that Blake Bortles year.
You know it.
Then he got hurt his last year in Jacksonville, so I think it was a torn ACL. Never fully got good back in Jacksonville land. So goes to Chicago, and obviously we know what's going on in Chicago.
Freaking disappeared last year.
Last year
burned the shit out of people in fantasy last year.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I'm happy to see him land in a perfect spot. Like you cannot get any better having Cooper Kupp as your running mate. He's going to have, the second corner on him, which he usually gets number one coverage. So,
yep.
I mean, this is just great for him. It's a great spot.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really good landing spot. Makes him pretty attractive this year. He is a fantasy darling. I'm already hearing it in mock drafts and in the drafts I've done. Like people are jumping all over it. I would still be a little bit hesitant because of the burn from last year, but it is such a better situation. And you got to figure he's probably going to ball out. Definitely more likely to ball out than to just be done.
Yeah. Oh, he's not done. You feel like he's going to have, I don't know if it's a chip on his shoulder or something to prove. He's like, hey, y'all just left me for dead out in Chicago. Don't forget what I'm doing. Don't forget.
Yep. The Rams also lost Sony Michel and just running back depth, honestly, but they've had injuries. So, they kind of need everybody they can get. And then their offensive coordinator, as we talked about earlier, went to the Vikings. So have some turnover there, but I think Sean McVay, he calls the plays anyway. So it's really his system. I think he's fine. I expect they will be really good again. They lost Von Miller, but they signed Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks. So he just kind of replaced a really great linebacker with another one.
One falls off, slide it right in. So.
Yep. So I think they'll be fine again this year. So look for more of the same there. Let's head over to the Cardinals, the first half of the season Giants, and then second half of the season
Little Giants,
turd monsters. I don't know. They're the worst second half team the last couple of years. Just been awful. It's been really wild.
So bizarre, like how it would just without fail it happens. And we were talking about it all last year. Like when's the bubble gonna burst? When's it gonna end? It does. So obviously with the big key departures, they lost DeAndre Hopkins for 6 games for some unintentional PED usage. What did he claim it was for? He didn't know it was in whatever.
Of course. Yeah. They never do.
I didn't know.
They never do.
I never know.
I think they all just use this stuff all the time. It's just a matter of if they get caught or not, right?
Sure.
I don't think that DeAndre Hopkins is any worse of a player or dirtier than anybody else.
No.
They all have so much pressure to get well when they're injured as quickly as possible, and they rush it back every time. And especially when you're a little bit older, late 20s, early 30s, like those guys have the most pressure. And so he's like, I can't lose a step because then I lose my spot to Rondale Moore or Christian Kirk or somebody,
Right. Well, and especially, they needed him. And he was hobbled all the second half of last year. Very frustrating for this guy.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's unfortunate for them. Obviously a big weapon gone for 6 games. And then obviously they lose Christian Kirk to free agency. Big deal with the Jags. They lose their backup running back and Chase. Well, I don't even know. Would you consider Chase a backup? Or, I mean, they were split backs for the most part, would you say?
Yeah, I think he was like a 40%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, they lose some big pieces.
They did lose some big pieces, but they also reloaded a little bit. They brought in Hollywood Brown. That was like the blockbuster deal during the draft.
Why don't we have this on the slide? Where's Hollywood?
Hollywood Brown was the blockbuster deal during the draft. And I think that he's going to make an immediate impact. I think that it came out, DeAndre Hopkins suspension came out, and then you're kind of like, oh, this makes
Oh
sense.
crap.
That's why they gave up such a high draft pick to get somebody that had been good but not like elite, because they needed him ASAP. They needed him
Yeah.
for 6 games.
Although, did you just hear his legal problems?
Yes, I did.
Like,
He'll be fine.
guys,
He
just
yeah,
don't be
going a
dumb.
little fast.
Don't.
He's a fast guy. He lives life fast.
Is
What are
he
you gonna
fast
do?
and furious too? I mean, he's fast
He
and
was
furious.
furious about getting in trouble for being fast, I'm sure.
So there you go. Perfect tie-in.
So
Jeez.
yeah, he's going to be the new speedster. I think first 6 weeks he could be a total beast for them. He played college ball with Kyler, so they've got a connection there as well.
Right.
So
Just gotta make sure Kyler watches that film, though. Just saying.
or plays Madden. He's going to play Madden. Remember, don't worry about him. They did bring in Darrell Williams, who I guess we should have mentioned as a departure from the Rams, but he's going to add that depth. I think he replaces Chase Edmonds pretty much immediately as the 40% guy. And then they drafted this guy, Keontae Ingram, out of LSU, who is actually going to be battling for that second role as well. So he could get some snaps too. I think their backfield will be just fine.
Yeah, but just for the first half of the year, and then they won't.
And then they may not. I mean, James Conner was a monster last year.
He was.
He was a monster last year.
For like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Like,
I think 4. I mean, he was a touchdown maker, and I think he will continue to be so. That you just got to figure out how to get over that hump. I don't know what it is psychologically. It is in their dome whenever this happens.
Do you think this is shoot? Why am I blanking on the Kingsbury's like kind of make or break here?
Probably. Don't you think? I mean, I don't think it's great to go 10-6, 11-6. It's great to do that, but
not the way you did it.
Not if you lose in the first round of the playoffs every year, or don't make the playoffs because you epically fail at the end of the year. I mean,
or go 2-6 in your final 8 games.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to imagine. It's not often that a coach does that well and gets let go. Although Brian Flores would argue, I did it with really crappy talent.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't think that he can keep doing that. I think so with that talent level.
The way they looked in that playoff game to the Rams, like that loss, they just looked hapless. They just looked like they had no idea what was going on. Like that was just incredibly disappointing to see. And yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they start this year. I mean, that's their thing, but
I got to imagine they're going to be pretty hot, but we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe DeAndre waiting 6 weeks and coming back later is a good thing for him.
Maybe there'll be a second half team this year.
Yeah, maybe they come out hot to their normal hot start, and then they get him and he's healthy and he's angry and he's, I don't know, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe
we'll find out.
Let's move on.
Yes, please.
See what's going on in San Francisco. So had some changes in San Francisco and still some up in the air. Yes. But most of the offensive changes are, hey, they re-signed Debo, thank God, as you point out here. They drafted a couple of guys. This Tyrion Davis-Price is getting a little bit of buzz. Brock Purdy is not getting buzz, but this is going to be the Trey Lance show this year. Yeah. And so that's the reason I think Brock Purdy is at least worth mentioning. He's presumably the backup or maybe third string quarterback, and he had a lot of hype coming out of college. At one point, he kind of tumbled down the draft boards. But the big story is Jimmy Garoppolo. What's going to happen there?
I mean, he's got to be gone. I think unfortunately for them, they might have to just come and release him because if he makes the 53-man roster, they're paying him, and he has a big contract because he's on that huge extension for them a few years back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tough for him. I mean, if you look at his time in San Francisco, he had technically a great winning percentage. I mean, even his stats were not that bad. He wasn't as flashy, especially last year. I mean, they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, but a lot of them are saying it wasn't because of him. So, it's tough for him. But I don't see why the Browns don't go out and get him. He's a very capable starting quarterback. I think you could say he's one of the top 32 quarterbacks in this league that he's starting.
For sure.
So now it's just kind of finding the right suitor. They're definitely not keeping him. The coaching staff made the decision to say, nope, this is Trey's team. I think that's smart. At least I say it's smart to choose one from the get-go and say, like, yes, this is our QB1, and going on from there, not leaving it up to, we'll just see the competition in camp and stuff like that. Granted, Garoppolo was still hurt, but now he's officially full cleared, which is, I think, the biggest hurdle for the trade. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot for him in the team, but I mean, he's going to be moving on elsewhere. Again, the smartest thing for me, I would say, would be to go to Cleveland, and they definitely don't want to see him go to Seattle, where he can jump right in and start, and then you face him twice a year. So,
Yep. I don't know how much control they've got over where he lands. I don't know
if they
that.
release him, they have zero.
Yeah,
So that's
I
why
mean
they're
the
trying to
deals.
find that
Yeah, the
trade.
deals are all structured differently, but yeah, if they're trying to find a trade for sure. But yeah, Seattle, you don't want to see that twice a year because he is like he has those games where he's like really competent, really efficient. He's like an Alex Smith type, in some regards. Kind of reminds me of him.
Yeah, not many mistakes.
Pretty accurate, not a lot of mistakes, but probably not going to put the team on his back and take you all the way.
Right.
Either it's just not going to happen. Doesn't have quite the
Let's be honest,
playmaker dynamic.
That was Debo's role last year. He literally put the entire team on his back.
For sure.
I didn't realize how big Debo was.
Dude, he's a monster.
I know. I'm watching the NFC Championship game. Or no, I'm watching against the Packers. I was like, my gosh, how have I not been paying enough attention to see how big this man is when he's running down the hole or, catching balls? Like, man's a beast.
There are a few guys in the league that are that size, and it's him, and it's
DK
Metcalf and AJ Brown are kind of all three the same. Like AJ Brown is also a monster of a man. These guys are just big, physical. They can run the ball. I mean, he's just huge.
Why am I blanking? Where'd Debo go to school?
Debo, South Carolina.
South Carolina. I was gonna say that's two Ole Miss guys, and it's not SEC, man. They grow big. SEC.
They grow big. SEC for sure. Yeah. But yeah, these guys are just huge, and they can run the ball, and they're hard to tackle, and they're bruisers, and
Okay, real quick. Well, actually, go to the next slide because it makes sense because of Seattle. I just want to make a DK Metcalf reference.
Okay, I will mention as well. Raheem Mostert's gone to Miami.
Oh yes, your boy.
The offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel also went to Miami, making the backfield a little cloudier, which is why I mentioned Tyrion Davis-Price. Right. Elijah Mitchell is still the guy there. Jeff Wilson Jr. is still there. So they're going to continue to have three running backs and Debo, but Mostert, my beloved Mostert, who never could make it past like 4 games, is gone.
So sorry, real quick about the running back room now. So obviously Debo has all these incentives to run it. What does that do to Elijah Mitchell's stock?
I think Mitchell has got a very carved out role. I think he's really good. Now he doesn't catch a lot of passes, so in full PPR, he's not like a huge asset, but he's like kind of like Nick Chubb light. Like he's not the same build as Nick Chubb, but
Nick Chubb.
He runs. He gets high volume carries, not a lot of passing game work, and he's really effective.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's like a 2-round discount on Nick Chubb, maybe, something like that.
Okay. Fair.
All right. Let's hear it about DK. What you got?
Okay. So I know I mentioned this last season, and I think I got you started on the web series, Bleacher Report, Gridiron Heights.
Yep.
And so the best part is whenever they highlight the rookie class, the rookies always have baby voices, so all the quarterbacks like, hey, it's me, Baker Mayfield. But whenever they had DK Metcalf on as a rookie, obviously he's just a mountain of a man. First of all, they always animated him without a shirt, so he'd had like 50-pack abs, just already a monster. This was his voice. Like all the rookies are babies. He's like, hey guys, what's up? I'm like, oh my god.
I'm so excited for Career Day. The weather made look good, DK.
Hey, how many references do you guys have?
He's just built different, dude. He really is. He really is.
Sorry. Again, you got for those listening who haven't checked it out, Gridiron Heights. They're all like 1.5 to 2-minute videos. It's just
very quick, very funny. You have to like listen carefully because they go so fast.
So
they're very funny. Yeah. They're very funny. All right, let's talk about those Seahawks.
Right, those Seahawks.
This is probably the biggest change in the NFC West overall, for sure.
Holy cow! Yep. Obviously, Danger Russ is gone. What else can you say about that? That's big. That's huge. That's huge. MVP candidate gone. And then you replace him with Drew Lock. Like,
woof.
Great.
I will say the reports are saying Geno Smith is probably got the edge right now, which is good, honestly.
Which is good and sad.
It is sad. It is good for them, for sure.
But, I know they got all those draft picks, which is huge for them. But, man, to go from Russell to Drew. If you're DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, you just go.
Just shoot me. Just shoot me.
Damn it.
And I got to play, it's already, very cold and rainy up there all the time. This sucks.
This is terrible.
They did bring in Noah Fant in the deal as well, who actually had a really good tight end year last year and is a stud. We'll see if
who's throwing it to him.
if he can flourish there or not, I don't know. There's also, now there's a couple pretty well established mouths to feed in Seattle with Lockett and Metcalf. So
I mean,
I don't know.
They have great offensive pieces besides the quarterback position. Obviously, you got the two great wide receivers. Noah Fant's a very capable top 10, top 12 tight end. I mean, even the running back position, I know Chris Carson officially retired. Once again, my do-it bet board stud.
That's right.
Got me 4 games. But I mean, Rashad Penny, in his classic move, did his audition at the end of the year and showed he can carry the load. And then you go out and drafted a Kenneth Walker, who will probably be the running back of the future once Rashad Penny shows, oh, wait, just kidding. It's only when I'm auditioning. I'm good. So, I mean, they have those good offensive pieces. So, other than the quarterback position. So, it's tough. So, if you're Geno Smith, who, as you're mentioning, is leading in camp right now, you got to do something because you have the pieces there. And if you're auditioning, so, hey, I can still be a starter in this league, you got to make it happen because there are too many good pieces to not.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you can't win games if you don't have a good quarterback. It just you can have like a pretty good quarterback and make it decently far. And every now and then a Joe Flacco will sneak his way into a Super Bowl. But you can't get it done with Geno Smith and Drew Lock. They're just not gonna win games. They'll win 6 games maybe, whatever it is, because they have so much other talent.
Right.
And I know they're rebuilding through the draft and all that kind of stuff too. But they're not going to go anywhere without a quarterback.
Right.
And Garoppolo could take this team, I think like Alex Smith, he could be good enough to take this team to like a 10 or 11 win season and sneak into the playoffs because he's just a steady hand and he's competent. I don't think Geno can do that. Although Geno has matured a lot from his rookie years when he was god awful. He looked pretty competent last year when he came in during Russell Wilson's injury.
He was very competent. Honestly, there were games I remember where I think we were doing like DraftKings or something like that, or doing some parlays, and it would come down to, they're playing Geno Smith and the Seahawks. Like, okay, that's a lock. It's fine. But then like he would be competitive in the games and keeping them in. Like, crap, Geno Smith. But no, I mean, he did look fine. He looked fine for them. But when you're an NFL franchise, you don't want fine.
You don't want fine, especially when you're losing a probable future Hall of Famer. It's just not really what you're going for.
No.
So not so great there. I think you mentioned the sum, but there's so much buzz about Kenneth Walker, and obviously we were huge fans. He started his career at Wake Forest and then
team and Deke, man.
Went to Michigan State. So we've seen this guy a lot. I think he's a really good runner. But I will say I think it's Rashad Penny's job until he loses it. Honestly, I really do. And I don't think that's going to go change anytime soon. I don't think that this rookie's just going to come in just because he was drafted in the 3rd round and just take over. I think if Penny's the hot hand to start the season like he was to end the season, it's going to be hard for Kenneth Walker to steal reps. And they don't have a ton of depth with Chris Carson going away too. I think they've still got DJ Dallas coming in.
Okay, DJ Khaled, easy there, easy.
But I do think it's the Rashad Penny show, and I think he's actually a really good draft value for fantasy because, again, being a weekly game, I think you've got an opportunity to get some early wins with him. Even if he does lose the job, it's not going to kill you because it's not going to happen until later in the season.
Okay, fair. I mean, NFC West is going to be interesting. I mean, obviously there were 3 playoff teams last year. If the Seahawks can just get something out of the quarterback position, maybe they could challenge for a playoff spot. That's a great division. That's top to bottom. It's one of the most competitive. So it'll be fun to see those matchups.
Yep.
Okay.
But you've got a new segment for us once again, don't you?
I do. Okay. So, we're doing our on-campus, which is a thing, and it will continue to be a thing. We're making it happen.
Not going away.
So I just started thinking, okay, I like that, kind of going back to the college roots. So we decided to I came up with this idea for a new segment. Kemper, why don't you tell them the name?
Okay. How it started, how it's going.
How it started versus how it's going.
Because we're so popular, like we know all the social media trends and everything. Yeah. We're like way up on this stuff. It was probably like a year ago when that was really popular, but either way.
Okay, so here's how it works. I'm going to give you, I'm not going to name the player, obviously. So I'm going to give you where they went to college. Then I'm going to give you who drafted them. And then I'm going to give you what team they're on currently. Okay? So you're getting potentially up to 3 different teams. And you have to tell me said player. Okay? Are you ready?
I am
started
ready.
versus how it's going.
How it started. How it's going.
How it's going. Okay. Playa. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of made these a little hard.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Awesome.
I apologize in advance. So I gave you 3.
Are you going to give me the positions first or no? Or no? Try. I guess try without it and see.
I'll try one without it.
Okay. That's going to be really hard without the position.
Yes.
Okay.
This is probably starting with the hardest one. So once again, I apologize.
This player went to Alabama.
Please don't murder me when it comes to my turn. All right. College. South Florida. Good start.
Okay.
Drafted by Indianapolis. Currently a Houston Texan. How it started. How it's going.
Marlon Mack.
Ooh, right out the gates. Yes.
Give me that.
Mack. Did you know South Florida, or were you just like, okay, Colts to Texans?
I knew all 3 combined when I heard them all together. Yeah, I did know Marlon Mack went to South Florida.
Right.
Yeah, the Colts to Texans thing definitely helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, South Florida, I was like, man, there's not too many. There are some, but there's not too many out there.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, give me that. Marlon Mack. Let's go.
1 for 1.
1 for 1.
Honestly, I thought that was the hardest one, so you should be in the clear now.
Well, we'll see.
Here's your cupcake. All right. College. West Alabama. Drafted. Kansas City Chiefs. Currently Miami Dolphins.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, yes. That was the layup.
He started his college career, I want to say in Florida, somewhere like that. Like he was somewhere big and then got kind of bounced around. And yeah.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you like, hey, where did Tyreek Hill graduate from, or where did he finish his? Where was the last year he played? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you West Alabama, but I knew it was somewhere obscure like that.
Yep. Okay. 2 for 2, man. 2 for 2. All right. This one, anyway. I don't know. You've shown your mettle. I think you're fine. So
I feel good now. If I get 2 out of 3, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, you already got your goal. So how it started: college, Tennessee, drafted, Minnesota. Currently, how it's going, Atlanta.
That's Cordero Patterson.
You are correct. 3.
Let's go. Let's go.
The Swiss Army knife himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to think, like, what's funny is when you said Tennessee and then you said Minnesota, I wasn't thinking the Vikings. I was like, wait a second. Okay. Reset. NFL team now. It's the Vikings. Okay. Yeah. Dude, yeah, that was good, man. I like that. That was good. Look at me. I'm like you remember that show Stump the Schwab? I'm like the Schwab.
Yes. You are the Schwab right now. You're perfect and on campus, and how this started, how it's going.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just quit on top.
Hey, just like George Costanza, you got to know when to leave. Like, all right, I'm out. All right.
So yeah, sweet, man. Appreciate you doing that. That was cool. I like that.
Yeah. So we'll keep that going. We got season 2, so many new segments. What
greatest podcast ever.
Giving the fans what they want.
Greatest podcast ever.
All right, man. So we just did the NFC West. So that means we got 2 divisions left.
AFC East, AFC West. That'll be next week.
Squads. Okay. Then I have to talk about the Patriots. You can't give me crap about it. So there we go.
I know. It's going to be all your episode next week. By the way, we didn't get to mention, I'm rocking Aaron Curry for the Seahawks here. This is an Aaron Curry jersey.
I saw that.
Wake Forest Demon Deacons. He was there while we were there, and he got drafted 4th overall, second highest Wake Forest draft pick ever. Behind, do you remember who was the highest ever?
No.
Norm Snead.
Oh, how could I forget?
In the early 60s.
Yes.
Got drafted by the Washington Redskins.
Well, do you remember where you got that jersey?
I do remember where I got this jersey. This was a bachelor party gift for my bachelor party from my boys, my Wake boys, and it started a tradition.
I was gonna say that started the tradition.
Yep, where everybody gets one in their bachelor party.
On their bachelor party. So we got you the Aaron Curry.
Yep.
Aaron has the Pistol Pete Maravich. I got Chris Paul. I think that's where we're at right now. So it was a great tradition that it started with you, man. I just remember talking to the guys. I'm like, hey, why don't we get him something? And it was Aaron Curry at the time. Like, he was huge. It's like, oh my God.
He had just gotten drafted.
Yeah.
He largely considered a pretty massive draft bust, unfortunately.
Huge bust. Huge bust.
But he is coaching. He's like a defensive assistant for the Seahawks currently.
Is he?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Good on him. And Josh Howard is actually in the collegiate coaching ranks. So he was also there when we were there. And obviously Justin Gray, basketball players coaching.
Western Carolina. Chris Paul still crushing it in the league.
Tim Duncan just being himself. Awesome.
Yes, probably swimming for fun.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's a great jersey, man. I'm proud you rocked that out. That's good.
Always appreciate this. I have a Rams jersey too, actually, but it's a St. Louis Rams jersey, so it doesn't fit for this divisional preview.
No, it does not. When they move back, then it will.
When they go back, I'll bust it out.
Well, nice, man. Well, hey, you have a great weekend, and 2 more divisions left. Then we'll be getting into our mock drafts and, of course, our perfect lineups. So a lot of good stuff. And again, the season inches ever so closer. But until that time, keep on folding.
Fold it.